Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS producer Sydney Bowles, BNEWS reporters Robert Paris and Tad Stefanak, Peter Brown with the weather, Gretchen Carey with the community calendar, and Anthony Matos with sports. Thank you for joining us. It was a big week for Burlington Public Works projects as state and national leaders joined local authorities to celebrate major ribbon cuttings. After years of hard work, local DPW workers celebrated the opening of the town's connection to the MWRA, meaning Burlington has more resiliency in its water system and more support from the state. More on that next week. The DPW also cut the ribbon on a major PFAS filtration system, a project that has been in the works since 2021 and cost $15 million. That's when a state rule change meant Burlington's water supply was no longer considered compliant. The filtration system, a significant achievement that puts Burlington ahead of the curve when it comes to contaminants that many towns around the state are still dealing with. Tad Stefanak has this report.
Burlington has cut the ribbon on its new PFAS filter water treatment facility. 2.5 years in the making, and with federal funding involved, Congressman Seth Moulton was on hand and praised Burlington's efforts.
Well, they've obviously got strong leadership. They've got strong leadership that was willing to work with a team, state, federal, local. I mean, this town itself stepped up in a major way, funding this with taxpayer dollars. And they obviously had really brilliant project leadership because there's so many infrastructure projects like this that are just grossly behind schedule and over budget these days.
We got this done in 2.5 years for a $15 million project to design it, to handle the piloting studies, and to construct it on top of having all the supply chain shortages still remaining from COVID. For what was done, it's an incredibly short time.
These guys got it done on time, on budget, and the result is clean water for everyone in Burlington. That's something to be proud of.
The reason for the installation was to meet the PFAS regulations, but it's clarifying the water even more, so that there's a side benefit in which the quality of the water is even greater.
From the town of Burlington PFAS filter facility, I'm BNews reporter Tad Stefanak.
Following his visit to the ribbon cutting Wednesday, United States Congressman Seth Moulton was at Burlington's Grandview Farm for a town hall with constituents. The congressman discussed issues ranging from homelessness and shelter capacity to protecting Social Security. It was sometimes a contentious conversation with a representative who remained focused on consensus. Sydney Bowles has the story.
Moulton called attention to his work establishing the Suicide and Crisis Hotline 988, in part due to his own struggle with post-traumatic stress.
And if you wake up in the middle of the night, just like if you wake up in the middle of the night and your house is on fire, you don't have to go find a phone book to look up the number for the fire department. You just know you dial 911. Well, now we want everyone in America to know that if you or a loved one wakes up in the middle of the night, you have a mental health crisis, you can dial 988.
But the most contentious parts of the conversation were between the Democratic representative and conservative constituents who wanted solutions for the southern border crisis.
We want to have, ladies and gentlemen, we want to have.
Moulton said he supports bipartisan immigration reform that would create a path to citizenship and help migrants access legal work in the United States.
We need to strengthen our borders. I agree with you on that. We also need to provide a pathway to citizenship for people who are here and people who want to come here legally. We have a massive employment problem right now. You know, you go down to the Cape this summer, and a lot of restaurants are closed half the week because they don't have people to work.
Moulton said he appreciates hearing from all constituents to help guide his work in Washington.
I don't think I can do my job if I don't hear from you, because you're the people that my team and I work for every single day. And we
for BNews, I'm Sydney Bowles.
The committee in charge of rebuilding the Fox Hill Elementary School is preparing for an upcoming community meeting. The meeting is for members of the community to offer their opinions on whether or not the district should combine the Fox Hill and Pine Glen Elementary schools into a larger school on the Fox Hill site. To prepare for the meeting, members of the Elementary School Building Committee have been filling out criteria matrices to better understand their own priorities. Presented for the first time this week, an anonymized summary of 17 responses showed the committee has a clear preference for a smaller Fox Hill school only. Martha Simon, who is a member of the School Building Committee and the chair of the school committee, urged her colleagues to view the responses in context.
There were also a couple of questions on cost, and we all have seen the numbers. The cost, absolute dollars, for the 325 school is less than the cost, absolute dollars, for the 640 school. There wasn't a question on which one is more cost-effective per pupil. So I feel like this has its purpose. There's a lot of, it's clear that some people, there's more people on this list that were suggesting that their preferred option is the 325, and I feel like it's not the end-all be-all.
The community meeting will be another set of data for the committee to consider. Residents will be able to send in responses to an open-ended question, then vote on the responses of other attendees. School committee member Catherine Bond disagreed with the decision to use the software.
My only comment is what I said before. The purpose of this committee was for us to come up with a solution and present it to the town for them to vote on it. And I feel like by doing this, we're doing the exact reverse. So I spoke up on that before, that I wasn't real keen on doing this, and I just want to make this statement again. What we're supposed to be doing is making a recommendation to the town, not them making a recommendation to us and us making a decision based on that. Yes, we have to listen to people when they're coming to our meetings or whatever, but by taking a pulse survey in advance, I disagree with it. So I'm just going to make that statement.
Martha Simon had this response.
This is a tool. I see this as a tool to give us more information so that when this SBC makes its decision, we will have all that information. I also see the criterion matrix as a tool that will give us some information. I don't see any one of these things making the decision and taking it away from this SBC. So I see it as another tool to get more information. I speak to individuals. I hear something. It's not the same as what somebody else hears when they talk to other people. So this, to me, will be valuable.
The community meeting is scheduled for September 18 at 7 p.m. at the high school auditorium. The Burlington Conservation Commission has released a new resource for those who want to help the environment in their own backyards. The Sustainable Burlington Landscape Handbook has advice on planning, implementing, and maintaining a garden full of native plants and elements that help conserve water and reduce waste. The handbook was adapted from work done by the town of Concord. The booklet is available on the Conservation Commission's website on burlington.org. The Indian street food chain Eggholic is one step closer to expanding into Burlington. The restaurant cleared a Board of Health hearing about its grease traps, but still has to win final approval from the planning board. If it makes it to Burlington, the restaurant will offer egg-forward Indian snacks and meals in a location near Mom's Organic Market on Wall Street off of Cambridge Street. There's a new way to support high school sports and treat yourself to better parking. The BHS Athletic Boosters are holding a raffle for a very important booster parking spot of the month. Here's Boosters Kendra Lamoretti with the details.
The BHS Athletic Boosters are raffling the best reserved parking spot at BHS Varsity Field and BHS Gym, just for you for an entire month during the sports season. Raffle tickets are just $5 for a chance to win each month. Tickets can be purchased from our website under the link that resembles the special Spark parking sign we have created just for you, a very important booster, or RVIB. If you think you might be interested, check out the dates available on our website. Tickets must be purchased by midnight the day before the winner drawing date. A single winner will be chosen randomly for each BHS spot. One at BHS Varsity Field and one at the BHS Gym. Winners will receive a text or email with a document to place in their front windshield of the vehicle to be parked at the Only for VIB marked spot at BHS. Parking spots are reserved Monday through Saturday only from the hours of 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Want to know how you can be automatically entered into the drawing every month? Well, athletes' families that have paid their 2023-2024 school year BHS Athletic Booster membership fee by the winter drawing deadline will automatically be entered into the drawing each month. The membership pays for itself by the end of the year if you do the math. So click the Join Today link on the BHS Athletic Boosters website and pay $37 for a single year or $144 for all 4 years.
Burlington's next Hazardous Waste Day is coming up. This September 23rd, residents can bring items like aerosol cans, fluorescent light bulbs, pool chemicals, cleaning products to be safely disposed of. The event will be held at Fox Hill Elementary School and will be from 8:30 a.m. until noon. The actors with the Burlington Players are gearing up for another performance. This time it's Ripcord, a comedy about two very different women forced to share a room in a retirement community. Robert Paris has the story.
The Burlington Players are back with another show. The crew is gearing up for their performance of Ripcord, written by American playwright David Lindsay Abair.
It's about two women who live in a retirement home. Not necessarily, they don't get along very well. In fact, they make a bet, and whoever wins the bet gets to stay in the room. The other one has to move out. And that pretty much takes up the play of them competing with each other and the outrageous lengths they will go to win the bet.
Actresses Pamela Schwepp and Dale Ballantyne bring the characters to life as they portray Abby and Marilyn.
Abby is misunderstood. She comes off as grumpy and cantankerous, but there are reasons for that become apparent as the show goes along.
And Marilyn is obnoxiously perky and has a very lot of positive energy, and that turns out to be because she's had a lot of hardships in her life as well, and this is her way of coping. So the kind of the grumpy and the chirpy kind of clash, and that's sort of the premise, but we find out that there's more stuff underneath each character.
Producer and set designer Chris Rose is looking forward to seeing the reaction from audience members.
Above everything else, I hope people have fun with this. It's a very enjoyable script. It's a very lovely play. I think people should just come away with a sense of feeling a bit better at the end of it and feeling a little happier. There's some things along the way that happen within this script. Again, I'm not going to give away everything, but a little bit of a surprise ending, and I hope people will come away and enjoy that. Some shows are thinkers. This one's a little bit more just come along for the ride and enjoy it.
Funny and heartwarming play. It's a lovely story. They get that as they compete with each other, they share their lives with us, and they're very interesting characters and have a good backstory. It's a very, very funny play, though. It really is. They're guaranteed to have a good laugh, so.
For tickets and more information, go to burlingtonplayers.com. From the Park Playhouse, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Fine, I'll see the damn show.
Yes!
School is back in session, and one place where there's always new lessons to be learned is the animal kingdom. Sydney Bowles brings us this story about a science center critter with a lot to teach us about paying attention.
Hi, I'm Wendy Pavlicek, and welcome to Critters Up Close. So we're here today to talk about owls, and this very striking owl's name is Scout. Scout is called an eastern barred owl, and that is a B-A-R-R-E-D, barred owl, not to be confused with the barn with an N, barn owl. And Scout has a little sad story, was found as a baby and someone tried to hand raise her and she got hurt and injured. She was put back in a nest with some foster parents and a family, and she was too scared of the foster family and wasn't able to eat, and they decided that she was what's called imprinted, meaning that she can no longer be a wild owl. She thinks she's a human just like us. Owls have a variety of different feathers. They have a really unique face set of feathers called the facial disc, and these feathers act like our earlobes do. They actually collect the sound to go into their ears. Now all the way down at the bottom of the owl is what I like to call the danger zone. Their talons, they're extremely sharp and extremely powerful. They have toes that can pivot. They have 2 toes in the front and 2 toes in the back, but they can pivot and move them in any direction to help aid with grabbing. And on the bottom of their talons, on the skin on their toes, they have little tiny bumps that are called papillae that act like Velcro when they're grabbing their prey. When people think of owls, because they sit, they're still, they look around, they think a lot before they actually move and hone in on their prey. It's almost, they think of owls as being wise because of the way they think before they act. So I try to teach that lesson to my students. And the poem that I used to recite when I worked at the Museum of Science was, once there was an owl who sat in an oak. The more he saw, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't we be like that wise old bird?
Just as it celebrates its 100th anniversary, Leahy Hospital and Medical Center is receiving acclaim from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. The annual Quality and Safety Assessment found the Burlington Hospital was among about 10% of hospitals nationwide to receive the overall Hospital Quality Star. Fall sports is back in full swing at BHS, and our intrepid sports reporter Anthony Matos is back with your weekly roundup.
Hey everyone, I'm Anthony Matos, and this weekly sports report. The fall season has kicked off at BHS, but it doesn't feel like the season just yet, as a number of games and meets were moved due to the excessive heat. Red Devil football kicks things off with Westboro in their home opener on September 8th at Varsity Field. You can check it out live on our BCAT TV Facebook page. Micah Speo and I will bring you the call. Before the game, BNEWS sports reporter Robert Paris went down to a wet and rainy field to chat with head coach George Bailey.
Time for the kickoff as the Red Devil football team is back on Varsity Field for the 2023 season. George Bailey is stepping onto the turf for his second year as the Red Devil head coach.
Last year was tough because it was a learning experience, implement offense, defense, new systems. Now most of the kids get it, so camp is going a little bit smoother than last year, and right now I'm pleased the way the outlook and the progress is going with the team.
The staff is looking for improvements and has high expectation from the athletes and the captains.
Being in the system last year, and they understand how the coaching staff and how myself we expect from them. They're holding the standards of our program to the team and for themselves, and it's been very good. I'm very pleased the way the captains Charlie Andriolo and Joe Poland have been, and they've been great captains and great leaders for this team.
The Bedford Buccaneers will be visiting Burlington this year for the annual Thanksgiving Day game.
Seeing the alumni should be great, and there should be a packed house, and it should be a lot of fun.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Lady Devils field hockey were on the field earlier this week for their home opener against Winchester on September 6th, where they went scoreless in the game, 3-0. The ladies start off the season 0-1. They were supposed to compete in Reading, but that was canceled due to the heat. Their next scheduled game will be at home against Lexington on September 11th at Varsity Field. At the Patriot Golf Course in Bedford, the Red Devil golf team came up short with a 33.5 to 38.5 loss on September 1st. They'll have their home opener on September 8th in Billerica versus Arlington. Lady Devils volleyball had their first match against Winchester on the 7th. We go to the highlights.
The first game of the season is in the books for the Lady Devils as they competed at home at the Vanilla Gym against Winchester. Burlington took the first 2 sets, with the first score being 25-16, and in the second set, 25-14. Winchester wasn't going down without a fight as they won in the third set with extra points, 29-27. The ladies close it out in set 4 with a 25-20 score. Your final set, 3-1 Burlington.
Really close match, especially that third set. We had a lot of opportunities, but I think overall the entire match was a full team effort. Every single one of these players have been working really hard at practice, and this was a good season opener for us.
Both soccer teams will start their season off against Winchester High School on September 8th. The girls will be at Marshall Simons, where the boys will be at Moulton Turf in Winchester. Girls and boys cross country will begin their season on September 13th against Billerica. Girls swimming will begin their season September 11th at the Girls and Boys Club in Woburn against Winchester. For more Red Devil action, go to bcattv.org/sports and check out our Twitter page at BNEWS Sports. That's all for now. I'm Anthony Matos. Back to you, Phil Gallagher.
If you didn't see this spate of hot weather coming, weatherman Peter Brown says we can expect more of the same this coming week. And stay tuned after the weather for your community calendar with Gretchen Carey.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown. Look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading in towards the very end of summer. I know we've had some really warm weather over the past couple of days here in the Burlington area. So starting in our period on Friday, we should be seeing temperatures at this time of the year around 80. And we're going to be about 10 degrees warmer than that. We're going to be seeing temperatures in the low 90s and very humid out there. As we round out our period and next Thursday, we should again be seeing temperatures at this time of the year in the upper 70s. We're going to be a little bit cooler than that because we're going to be watching the approach of a pretty strong hurricane up into the area by the time we get towards the end of the period next week and into next weekend. Looking at our temperature map, they're calling for us to have below average temperatures. Not quite seeing that. That might hold true as we get towards the end of the period, as we see more cloud cover coming in, and looking at our precipitation chances, looks like we're going to have above average rainfall. Again, nothing new this summer. This is what it's been like pretty much back since the end of May. And again, that's what I'm looking at too as well. Looks like we're going to have a chance of some spotty showers and thunderstorms almost every day, getting more towards the way of some steadier rain maybe as we get towards the end of next week. Starting out on Friday, we're again being seen temperatures in the low 90s, pretty warm out there. It's going to stay pretty warm for most of the weekend. Still pretty humid out there, so just keep that in mind. Again, showers and storms maybe each day. As we get in towards the start of your work week, looks like those are going to be the two best days of the week coming up Monday and Tuesday. A little bit less of a chance of showers and temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80. Thereafter, we're going to see our temperatures start to go down as we see more persistent flow coming in from the east and southeast. Now, this is going to be in advance of the circulation, we think, surrounding Hurricane Lee coming up from the Caribbean. Again, just keep an eye, keep tuned to your local weather stations and news stations. Keep an eye on this. Just bear in mind we could have a strong storm near us by the end of next week into next weekend. Again, don't cancel any of your plans right now, but just bear that in mind that we could have a pretty good sized storm not too far from the Burlington area. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
The town of Burlington is bringing back the Town Center Beer Garden and Local Business Festival. We'll be hosting it every Thursday for the month of September here at the Pocket Park at 202 Cambridge Street in the Town Center. On September 14th, the Beer Garden will feature local favorite Lord Hobo Brewing Company. So we're encouraging you to bring your friends, your families, your neighbors, all down to the Town Center Beer Garden and Local Business Fest. We'll also be featuring a variety of local eateries, including Halal Eats, Pizza Works, Rosa Mexicana, True North Coffee, Almeida, The Sausage Guy, and Schoolhouse Ice Cream. So come on down to the Town Center during the month of September and support our local businesses. They're what makes Burlington special.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your Community Calendar. On September 14th from 6 to 8 p.m., the Atria Longmeadow Place will be having a casino night. $25 donation at the door. RSVP to 781-270-9008. On September 15th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m., Primrose School and Women-Aid are hosting an ice cream social to support the Ennis family. Their 4-year-old daughter Olivia is fighting leukemia. On September 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Burlington Parks and Recreation Department will be having a municipal truck day on the town common. Everyone is welcome, and the event is free. For more community calendar events, go to bcattv.org, burlingtonpubliclibrary.org, and burlingtonrecreation.org. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was...
And as we do every week, we're sharing a photo from a member of the community. This one comes from Steve Morin. A beautiful sunrise over, of course, Varsity Field. Thank you, Steve. If you have a photo you want to share with us in this spot, email it to us at bcattv.org with a photo of the week in the subject line. That's it for the week. We're going to leave you with some photos of the ribbon cuttings at the DPW. I'm Phil Gallagher. Thank you for joining us.